What is the most absurd thing someone has ever done on your private property? I live on a ranch that spans about 4,800 acres. I didn't buy it. I inherited it. Since I am not a rancher myself, I lease most of the land to folks who are actually in the cattle business. For me, it is just home, quiet, private, and 1,000 times better than the city life I left behind. When I took over, I made sure everything was up to code, checked the property lines, fixed the fences, and put up no trespassing signs wherever the law required. I even rode the perimeter on my ATV to be sure. Everything was secure, and life was calm. Until one afternoon when I was coming back from town and found 3 cars parked right across my private driveway. Now, this isn't a short driveway, it is a gravel road, 1.25 miles long with deep ditches on both sides. If you block it, there's no driving around. I could see my house from there, but I couldn't get to it. I hopped in my truck to look for the owners, but nobody was around. I thought about chaining up the cars and dragging them out of the way myself, but I decided it was better to have a witness, so I called the sheriff. The officer who showed up was Deputy Mike, a guy I knew because I teach at the local high school and have had a few of his nephews in my classes. He looked at the cars and told me he could write them a ticket and call a tow truck, but the nearest one was 2 hours away. Then he asked why I didn't just move them myself. That was exactly what I was thinking. I just wanted someone else to see it first. We took pictures of everything, the cars, the closed gate, and the signs. Then, with his help, I chained up the vehicles and dragged them out of the way. I got through, but they absolutely ruined my freshly graded gravel road. That bothered me more than anything else. The next day, the cars were still there. By the 3rd day, I was tired of it. If they wanted to leave their cars on my property, I was going to make sure they didn't leave easily. I took a hydraulic floor jack and some heavy wooden blocks, lifted every single car, and left them suspended in the air with their tires not touching the ground. And then I waited. 2 days later, 8 hikers showed up, sweaty, furious, and demanding to know why their cars were blocked. I told them the truth. They had blocked my access, damaged my road, and trespassed illegally. Their excuse was that they didn't know it was private property. I just stared at them. They had driven past a locked gate with giant signs on it. I told them that if I had needed an ambulance or a fire truck, help wouldn't have been able to reach me. They didn't like that one bit. They threatened to call the police, but their cell phone batteries were dead. They actually asked me to make the call for them. I laughed, but I did it, and of course, Deputy Mike came back. Since he already knew the situation, their complaints didn't get them anywhere. He cited them for trespassing, and even had to escort them off the property in 3 separate trips. After that, I called a tow truck. It took 4 hours and cost them $500 per car just to get them down and out to the public highway. I got my woodblocks back, and they learned an expensive lesson. A month later, I got a notification that they were suing me. Well, my lawyer fired back with a countersuit. When we got before the judge, their case was laughed out of court. The judge ordered them to pay me for fixing the road, plus storage fees and punitive damages. They threatened to appeal, but in this state, appeals go straight to the Supreme Court, which means years of waiting, huge costs, and very low odds of winning. My lawyer explained that to them, and they finally dropped it. A year later, I received the final payment. I decided to use that money for something positive. Now, every summer, I host a big barbecue for the local first responders. We do 2 days of smoked brisket, games for the kids, and swimming in the creek and the pool. The recklessness of a few idiots ended up funding a party for the people who keep this community safe, and that is just how life works out.